HIV and AIDS continues to devastate not only families and communities, but also whole continents. We've seen the epidemic knock decades of the national development of numerous countries and widen the gulf between rich and poor nations. In 2007, it was estimated that over 33 million people were living with the disease worldwide, and that AIDS had killed an estimated 2.1 million people, including 330,000 children in that year alone. HIV and AIDS has become the first truly international epidemic, easily crossing oceans and borders. In Ghana, the HIV/AIDS epidemic is gaining on us, slowly but steadily.
Our national prevalence is 1.9%, which on average means 2 out of every 100 Ghanaians are living with HIV.
There's about 24,000 new infections every year in this country.
Every single district within this country, there is a case of HIV.
60% of those who are infected in Ghana are women.
We currently have over 240,000 persons estimated to be living with HIV in this country.
This faceless threat is right on our doorsteps.
It's everywhere. Anybody can be affected. You can't look at my face and know whether I have it or I don't have it. So that makes it a challenge.
The productivity of a country as a whole goes down.
In Ghana, we haven't quite felt the brunt of it yet, but we don't want to get there. We don't want to get to the place that Uganda was a few years ago. We don't want to get to the place where South Africa is right now, where from day to day, you lose chunks of your workforce.
In some places, everyone in 3 people has the disease.
There's no room for complacency.
The resulting anguish is devastating.
When I found out, I was very sad. Sad is understatement. I wanted to die.
When I was first tested, I couldn't believe it's me because I thought HIV was too far from my doorstep.
I was like indoors, all alone. I felt like, I wouldn't live, to see the next year. I was very, very sad.
On top of that, prejudice, negative attitudes, abuse and maltreatment directed at people living with HIV and AIDS not only makes it more difficult for people trying to come to terms with their illness, but it also interferes with attempts to fight the AIDS epidemic as a whole.
It is stigma that fuels the spread of the disease.
People cannot even go out to work with the expertise that they have. Because at the workplace, even the telephone, they wouldn't allow them to use the telephone. And then the bathhouses, washroom, they wouldn't allow them to use. Even when they use the washroom, somebody will not like to use the same washroom. When they know that you're HIV positive, they just leave you from your work. No matter how, they don't even consider the trainings you have before they employ you. Maybe even the work will waste money to train you to be equipped, but they will just leave you.
The repercussions go beyond the health sector. It affects development of nations.
And if we want to attain the Millennium Development Goals by 2015, there's no doubt that you need to properly address the issue about HIV and AIDS. Government alone cannot do it.
The sexually active age band is the economically active age band. So it affects the persons who would move the economy forward.
It became necessary to broaden the scope of active players in the national response to HIV and AIDS and adopt a multi-sectoral approach, particularly in the private sector.
The workplace affords the best opportunity for educating adults.
That's where we discuss, we debate, we get information, or if we are not careful, we are misinformed about anything. That is exactly where we should be intervening.
The private sector, it's in a unique position because of its contact, with the employees.
The private sector is where we have a large proportion of the workforce, especially in the informal sector, in the small and medium-scale enterprises.
The latest Demographic and Health Survey 2008 points to the fact that we have near universal knowledge of HIV in the country.
However, the relatively low level of in-depth knowledge is not translating into behavior change.
Where we are now in the national response is to ensure that the knowledge that people have is translated into behavior change so that we can protect the people in this country.
In 2006, the combined efforts of the International Labour Organization, UN-AIDS, Ghana AIDS Commission, Ghana Employers Association, German Technical Corporation, private sector companies, and other partners resulted in the formation of the Ghana Business Coalition against HIV and AIDS.
The GBCA is a one-stop shop, and it really serves as the focal point for the entire private sector.
As well as big corporate bodies, it has workers' union on board, it has employers on board, and it has the informal sector on board.
The business coalition was brought on board to assist companies to address the epidemic or the disease in their companies by assisting them with policies and programs, the tools, training, and so on to help them to address the epidemic.
The coalition has helped its members set up comprehensive workplace programs with technical assistance, free materials like condoms, confidential voluntary testing, counseling and treatment, all with the ultimate intention of preventing the spread of HIV and AIDS. Those that are already infected receive treatment and care to enable them to live a long and productive life in a stigma-free environment. Let's look at Unilever Ghana, which among others has set up a workplace program based on a non-discriminatory policy.
The policy says that Unilever will not require HIV testing of anybody as a requirement to get an employment. And if you are already a worker here, the company will not ever ask you to do an HIV test and give a result to the company.
Unilever as a company does not discriminate against any employee on the basis of that employee being infected with HIV or AIDS.
Nobody is going to lose their job just because they are HIV positive.
We want all workers, factory floor workers, managers, we want everyone to know the policy, to understand it, and to abide by it.
My name is Samuel Kofi Amponsa of the clinic.
Well-trained peer educators disseminate information in the workplace.
Peer education is about giving out information to our peers. That's our colleagues, people of our age, our working class, maybe of our qualification. That is, we are par with them. So it's easy to take information at that level.
Our peer educators take the least chance available to them to educate us at our canteens, at safety meetings, weekly safety meetings. It has actually enlightened us on how to live safely, especially those who are not married, who have different, maybe quite a number of partners.
Wherever you visit the hospital,
the results are remarkable.
I mean, people were afraid for various reasons. Stigmatization, isolation, and all those things, discrimination. But now people are free to talk about HIV because a lot of them are able to test, do the test, so they are very confident.
It has really helped me, especially one aspect of it which was called the serial monogamy. I didn't know of it until I joined the company. And if you talk about serial monogamy, as they explained to me, it's having one particular partner at a time, but within a period. So sometimes within a year, you can have 3 partners. You feel it's okay, having one at a time, but it's not the best.
Through the programs, I've been able to impart that on my children at home.
That this is a disease that can kill you. If you lose your life, your family will lose you. When you get home, you try to preach to other people, your brothers and friends, and then church members, telling them they should be aware of how they go about sex.
Those who have the disease, they are just like us. We are not to judge them. So for that matter, we need to share love with them and make sure they feel comfortable within us. We don't have to desert them.
With 36 members and counting, the Ghana Business Coalition against HIV and AIDS is just getting started. The coalition is also looking at providing new services to its members.
The Ghana Business Coalition is going to retain its members, give them better products. We are going to go into new areas of interventions, especially the transport or haulage industry. We are going to look at the agricultural sector. We are going to look at the hospitality industry. We are going to give them new interventions which will help them to address this, not only HIV/AIDS, but other disease entities that may be reducing productivity in the private sector as well.
Expectations are high.
0 new infections, when there's 0 discrimination, and then there's no death related to HIV and AIDS.
Coming on board the GBCA is a win-win situation for each company. Workers like to work for companies that are caring. Workers like to work for companies that have good collective bargaining agreements. So if you are a company and the workforce knows that if I work here, there's sustainability, there is security, because even if, should I be positive, I will not be sacked. I think it goes a long way.
What I'm expecting businesses out there to do is to quickly locate the GBCA, link up with the GBCA, and register as members so that they can become recipients of the assistance that GBCA is giving to lots of organizations out there.
I encourage all private sector enterprises to join the Ghana Business Coalition so it becomes an effective organism and front to tackle HIV and AIDS in this country.
By joining the Ghana Business Coalition against HIV and AIDS, you can play an important role in mobilizing and empowering the Ghana business community to take effective action on HIV and AIDS in the workplace and beyond.